Matthew, let you know, I'm going to record a podcast session in about 10 minutes. Just keep, you're not making any noise, just letting you know. Thanks. I don't know why I can't hear you. And you're not on mute.
Does that work?
Yep.
It said that I had to reset my audio with the Zoom, but I had the wrong password. I was just trying to type it in.
Okay, cool.
Well, I'm pumped. There should be a cool one.
Yeah, absolutely. And I scheduled the other guy, Garrett Ryan, for not next the 29th. Monday the 29th.
Wait.
Monday the 29th.
Okay. Are you sure it's not the 22nd? Or
I changed it because
push it back another week?
Yeah, because we had that Monday Tony Robbins last thing on the 22nd. So I figured we'd just do it the week after that.
Okay. No, I just saw the 22nd because I hadn't really gone through any emails for the last like 3 days. So I just went through and just looked at like all my emails. Yeah. And I saw the 22nd there. So.
So you saw that
he's the Columbia wrestler, right?
Yeah. He's graduated. I'll send you some bio stuff on him later.
Cool.
So just to go over Tyler, I mean, I'll kind of do the same thing I always do, kind of do the welcome thing. You could jump right in if you want to jump in with the beginning of like, how you get started, whatever, you can do that. And we'll kind of, you and I have a really good flow. It always, we don't really have problems. So, but I think those topics I put up all seem to be good, right? I mean,
I love it. My things I was thinking were the big things like, especially because we were there listening to so much hype.
Yeah.
Why'd you say it in North Carolina? Not North Carolina.
New Canaan.
Why'd you say in New Canaan? Like, why didn't you go to prep school? Because we were, one, hoping you would, and two, curious why you never made that jump. I want to talk about like his youth and how he came up, because there was like, I didn't know about him until he really got to high school, but there was a lot of buzz when he did get there. He was doing tons of national tournaments. His dad was taking him all over the country to do stuff.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it's me, and like I was talking to Jordan about this. Do you know his nationality?
I don't exactly know.
But his dad's Asian, right?
I think, yeah, at least part.
Yeah. But like, and I feel like the name Sung, like, he, Tyler just has like an edge about him. Like he has like a chip on his shoulder. And
that's what it seems like anyway.
I've always been curious if maybe it came from his background, his nationality, because going to all those national tournaments, right? He's he's wrestling, the Midwest guys who are all just your standard country farm white kid. And then they're wrestling this kid Sung, and his dad's out there screaming in the corner. His dad probably doesn't match all the other dads in the Timberland boots and farmer hat. And I feel like maybe that gave him an edge. He was probably always overlooked.
Ask the question. Try not to be too stereotypical when you do it, because
that's where I wanted to say, like,
I think you can do it without. I think you can do it without kind of the big old farm boys. You can do it in a nice way. Just say, it seems like maybe that you're a little stood out a little differently than the rest of the guys, maybe in the Midwest and some of those tournaments you went to. Did that make a difference? Did it impact you? You know how to do that.
Yeah. And then, I mean, it's going to be a tough one to work in. I'm going to let you work in as mom, because I don't if the conversation feels like we can, you do that. And then yeah, I mean the way that because I think that his whole senior year is such like a view of how he was able to handle adversity
Exactly.
so
That's why I want to
effortlessly.
bring it up. Right.
Right, so effortlessly. He looked like it. I mean, he made it look like it didn't phase him. Like he made it look like it was just another day at the gym. So you do that one. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure he's got a badass bag. It could have been the senior year. Then college next year, it's gonna be it's gonna be sweet. And you know, it's funny, like you don't hear, like, even in talking to his coaches, like we never really heard about like all the extra work Tyler does. Or like, you know, he's always like in the gym later than anyone or doing extra drilling. Like I want to know like what behind the scenes stuff outside of practice does he do?
Well, we know he used to go to Jersey all the time and work out with the Jersey guys, and that's how he got to meet Coach Buxton, and that's how he got to be going to Lehigh and all that. So I want to hear some more about that. And
so Buxton's the coach of Lehigh?
No, Buxton was the legendary coach of oh my God, what's the powerhouse high school?
Blair?
What's that?
Blair Academy?
Yeah, Blair. Thank you. Yeah, he was a longtime coach of Blair.
Okay.
And now I think he just does some training. He trains people on his own private academy thing. But he's connected with all those programs down in that area.
Cool.
Yeah, and then so unpacking the pack. I want to do a whole bunch of things on. I'll talk to you about it later about the pack. But I know how I'm gonna transition to that is like.
What do you mean by the pack? Is that the pack is in like the badass bag?
Well, so in my mind, badass bag is part of the pack. So what I want to say to him is, look, every athlete carries a knapsack or a backpack around with them, especially wrestlers. We tote that thing wherever we go. You know, what's the most important thing you had in that thing? Whether, you know.
Oh, like physical backpack.
It could be physical. Yeah, right. Physical backpack. And then you could talk about, then you could say, okay, you know, did you have that and do your badass?
Then the badass bag is the metaphorical backpack.
Right. So,
okay.
So what I've done when I'm doing the mental training, I built a backpack and thought about all the things that should be in the backpack for every athlete. So, you know, motivation, whether it's your music or whatever it is. Do you have your goals in your backpack? Do you have your nutrition in your backpack? Do you have your game face in your backpack? Like, so it's metaphorical and
you got eye paint, you got
whatever it is, right? You can turn it on.
Yeah.
You know, do you have your reset button in your backpack? Like, can you reach into your backpack and get all these metaphorical things? And then part of that is, do you have your badass bag inside your backpack? Like when you need to reach down and go, this is a tough hill to climb. You know, have I ever climbed something like this before? What makes me have it? That's where the badass bag. So we can work on getting better with that. But that's what I meant by unpacking the backpack.
Okay, cool.
Especially with wrestlers, because wrestlers are known for walking around those giant backpacks. And
yeah.
And I can't wait to talk to this other guy who's a heavyweight. You know, and like the same backpack on this 285-pound guy, and the same thing on a 106-pound guy. It's just like we carry that shit around no matter what. There's got to be some good stuff in that pack.
Yeah, and I mean, like you get a guy like we get Liam on this pack. Liam will be like, Liam, what do you always have in your pack? Liquid bandage.
Yeah.
Wherever I go, I'm gonna bleed.
You see, man. So I have the guys are doing, you know, like the main guys are doing a lot of workouts. Spencer's getting swole. His neck is like all jacked out.
Oh.
I mean, like, you know, just getting all big and like, you know, he's put muscle on.
I mean, hey,
he's trying to go to the Naval Academy.
What?
He's trying to go to the Naval Academy, and he's doing like Navy training stuff. Yeah.
I mean, he's a tough kid, and like that's, you know, like the thing is, the thing with him is he wants to be tough.
Yeah.
He's still, and his biggest problem last year was discovering how to be tough. And I want to turn so I get more. I'm trying to get a little more sunlight on my face, so I brighten it up a bit. There we go. That's better. Like his biggest issue is like just not being able to follow through on the toughness that he wants. You know, like the question that he always had for us was like, how do I push past the pain or whatever? Like when it was fingers, it's like you have to block it out. Like you have to accept the pain, but he's still working on that. But I'll never say the kid doesn't want it. He wants it. He just still has those mental barriers up.
He's a good, you know, he works. He works hard and he's honest. Like he texted me the day, he goes, Coach.
He's gonna be big for our team next year too. Like if we want to win dual meets, we need him pinning kids.
He's we need 5 kids to do that. We definitely need 5 kids to be in there. And
I know, but like, I mean, he's the bottom of the 5 that we have right now.
Well, no, I'm saying we have 4 or 5 that we know we can count on. Then we have another 4 or 5 that we want to win dual meets. We got to have them winning 70% of their matches. 60%.
Yeah. Like him and Max are right next to each other for like, we need you to become a 75% wrestler, and we're gonna be legit. Like we could be top 10 next year if we have 3 studs and 6 70% wrestlers.
Heavyweights. We're gonna promise the big weights. We're not gonna have anybody over. We don't even have anybody over 170 right now.
We need practice partners for James, man.
Nightingale and Brazarian. They've got to really develop. If they develop, we have something. If they don't develop, we're going to be tough times. But we'll do it.
I mean, we're just getting stuffed at the heavyweights.
Liam's getting heavy too, man. I mean, not in a bad way. He's just putting on.
Well, I mean, he's in the driver's seat. He can go whatever weight he wants.
Yeah.
I mean, just like last year, he could have too, but there was a little more. Chen was there. I don't think anyone's going to be even around him because he's going to get so big, because he's going to put on. I mean, is he lifting? Like, what does he have to lift?
It's hard for him to lift right now. So
yeah,
like, you saw the video. He's doing exercises with gas cans from the propane cans.
Great, thanks. Yeah.
He's modifying, but there's not a lot of lifting you can do right at the moment. Gyms are opening up, I think, in next week.
He's got to, you know what I should do? I should, because who knows how long it's going to be till gyms open. I should get one of those.
In the next 2 weeks, they're opening in Connecticut.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, but is it going to be? But it's not going to be open. You're going to have to like reserve a time slot, right?
I don't know that. That I don't know.
Because I should just get him one of those logs that we have from the Tiger's Edge training, and just give him a log and just have him do because he can do squats.
Right?
Yeah, we got like 4 or 5 of them just sitting in the freaking thing. Oh man, it's been hot, man. Oh my god.
Today it's nice out though.
Today is gorgeous. I was just out. Jordan and I were just out on the patio reading. I had my shirt off, but like I've been working the patio. We only have patio at Village Social, so everything's patio. So it's been swelteringly hot. I've been drenched in freaking jeans out there, jeans and my freaking tucked in shirt. I'm so tired of it.
We gotta get these guys who come on the podcast to promote their podcast. Like we're at like 147 downloads.
To promote our podcast.
Well, their episodes. I'm saying their episodes.
Yeah. Have any of them been like retweeting stuff?
So Cross Canone has we have 147 downloads. He's got 105. And then Rich Perry has like 25, and then what's his name has 13. Yeah. So it's like I asked Chase. I said, stop promoting it. Because he has a great message. You need to get that message out. And I sent it to his basketball coach. I sent it to Colsey, but I don't know what they're doing with it. So we need to try to encourage them to promote it. You came on, you're telling your story. Let people hear your story.
Yeah.
So we'll see what we can do. I should have those T-shirts by next week, so we can send each guy a T-shirt too, so they can.
You're making T-shirts?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. I haven't seen them.
It's just the same. It's like the podcast cover words. So it says the Elite Athlete Podcast. On the back, it says powered by Tiger's Edge Training.
That's cool.
Yeah, just simple. Trying not to be too expensive, and give it to each person that comes on the show, so they have it. And maybe they can picture with it, put it on social media or whatever.
You should change the name on the podcast, because when you look for the podcast, it says the Elite Athlete, and then it just says in all lowercase, it says Gary Tiger. It should say Tiger's Edge Training.
I'll have to figure out. I didn't put that in. It just came.
No. I think it's standard, but you could probably edit it.
Yeah.
But or at least capitalize your names. It's like a really small Gary Tiger. I think it would look more professional if at least capitalized, or if you could get it to say Tiger's Edge Training.
I probably can. I think probably ask for who the author of it is or something like that, and I put my name in.
It's definitely in the settings. You can. It's like the same thing if you wanted to edit the name of the podcast. You just. Right. Go to the same probably bar.
Yeah, I had to edit the whole entire podcast on the fly the other day because I didn't really listen to when Jordan gave me the edited version, and uploaded it, got everything going, and then I listened to it. I'm like, there's no intro, there's no outro. He goes, oh shit, I forgot to edit that one. He didn't edit this one at all. Like,
Which
so
one?
the Chase one.
Oh, really?
Because even the beginning, when you say, yeah, Dad, I think we could start here, but we can edit it out, whatever. That whole thing's in there because he didn't.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he edited Charlie. He got excited about Charlie and edited Charlie instead of editing.
That's fine. I have to. I need to listen to one. I haven't listened to one straight through yet. I'm gonna listen to the Chase one soon and listen back.
You should listen to too. There's a podcast called The Daily Stoic.
Stoic,
like Stoicism, Stoic. I've been kind of studying that for a little while now, and I'm kind of getting into that, like Socrates and Marcus Aurelius and Seneca and all that stuff. But it's only like every day. It's like 2 to 3 minute long podcast. So it's like really easy to listen to. It's just a good topic, and it just you're not spending an hour on it.
All sorts of people, generals, politicians, athletes, coaches, writers.
Yeah. So there's how that got popular too is somebody, I forget who it was. It was Lombardi, not Vince Lombardi, but his Mike Lombardi, who's for the Packers. He was studying Stoicism and took it to the Patriots, and the Patriots started to adopt the philosophies of the Stoicism, and it started becoming big in the NFL and big in sports. And so, where's Tyler, man?
I'm sure I'll be on in a minute. Oh, on cue.
Yeah, well, there you go.
On cue. What's up, dude?
What's going on?
Going on, Tyler?
How are you?
Doing good, man. Enjoying the day?
Yeah. I literally just woke up like an hour ago, but yeah.
Nice. So school's over for you now, right?
School's done, yeah. Ago? We had like a little internship that we did instead of our primary one. So we did that. It was like either like you can do like fitness, like cooking, like you can do some random crap. So I just did fitness, and that was going on for a bit. Yeah, you can. It's just you like finding creative ways to do fitness without going to the gym because everything's closed. You know what I mean?
Nice.
Yeah.
So we did that. And yeah, school's done.
So you haven't done like schoolwork in months.
Nah, I had my last like conference with the teacher yesterday. She's like, you have to do your conference and you're done with me. And I was just kind of ignoring her because me and my friend were like, I don't want a conference with her. And I did it. And she was like, this is like the best piece you've had all year, your thesis, everything, best piece. So I'm going to give you an 85. Meanwhile, my average for the quarter and like the semester was a 91. So I didn't really care. I was just like, okay. Have a nice summer.
Once you got your college all locked up and you're all
your best piece all year is 6 points
right, that's
lower
what
than your average.
She literally said to me, she goes, it's the best thesis, best topic sense, structurally like the best thing. I think and that's why I'm gonna give you an 85. And I was like, well, okay, all right. If it was like the first semester, I'd be like, well, I don't think I deserve that, but since it's the end of the year, I'm just like, all right, whatever.
Oh, yeah.
At least it wasn't like below an 85, then I'd be like, okay, whatever, we're fine. But awesome. Yeah, it was. Hey.
Well, listen, man, thank you for coming on the podcast.
Of course.
We're excited to have you. Join. Been watching you for a long time now, and want to hear your story and kind of share it with the people that are listening. So we'll just bounce back and forth between questions, have fun with it, and we'll go from there.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So take us back to like the beginning, where you're getting into not only wrestling but just sports in general. Were you doing a bunch of sports when you were a kid, or was it always just wrestling? Where did it start?
I mean, I was doing a bunch of sports, but I was always bouncing around, but wrestling always stuck. And I remember for wrestling, we had another one of my friend's dads, Vito Erico. He called my dad up one day, and he was like, "Yo, you want to go to a tournament?" And my dad was like, I've never taught my son wrestling yet. And he's like, just come on, just throw him in the tournament. So we went. He threw me in the tournament. I lost every single match. Then we did the same thing next week, and I lost every single match. And he asked me if I wanted to stick with it, and I was like, sure, I'll stick with it. And that's how it just began. Then we started practicing, and I just stuck with it. Everything else, I was doing sports here and there. I think I did baseball for the longest after that, but I just ended up kind of just tossing that out and just keep wrestling.
How old were you when you started that?
I was around like 6 or 7 when I started the sport. Yeah.
and then you kept that up, right? And you kept going to
Yeah,
tournaments.
I just kept on going. And we just kept on going. We just bounced from weekend, and we just kept on going to tournaments. And that's what we did for the longest time I could remember. It was just going. My dad would just go on and just find the next tournament. We just go, go, go. And I remember we ended up picking up Justin that way because my dad ended up bringing Justin to it, and then we just started to incorporate Justin into it. And he started coming weekend with us, and we started traveling as we got better and better. We started going to different states. We get our butt kicks. We start going again to that state. We just kind of repeat until we just started, getting better. And that's what we did for the longest time.
Did your dad have any background with wrestling?
Yeah,
Or
he wrestled in high school. He was he was very good, but I always tell him that I'm better than him. But yeah, he was he wrestled in college. I mean, high school he's very good. He didn't go too far, even though he would have liked to. It was just that like his parents didn't have the money and they were very poor, so he couldn't travel and get to where I used to go. But he was like all county, something like that. But I know he, looking back at the old newspapers and stuff like that, he was very good.
yeah,
But
and
yeah.
that was in this area, like around here.
No, he wrestled for Lincoln in New York. He was from Yonkers. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I know it well. I grew up in the Bronx, and so I know Lincoln High School pretty well.
Yeah.
So
That's cool.
what about the tournaments did you love every day? Because I know you're saying it started that your dad just threw you in the car and took you to a tournament.
Yeah.
And then it just kind of became a thing. But like what kept you hooked that you were like, yes,
I think it was
like,
just,
let's do it next week.
I think it was just like, I think maybe like part of it was maybe the awards they sometimes advertised. But I think it was just the way I want to get better. Like I couldn't like losing just didn't sit right with me. Like, just being at a certain par, not getting better just didn't sit right with me. So I just kept me hungry to just keep on going and keep on wrestling, keep on getting better at these other events. And as soon as Justin came into that, it just, we just had the same feeling. We just kept on going.
Yeah. And, it's funny, Travis and I were talking before you came on, and, we wanted to learn a little bit more about what your youth was like, because, as coaches and competitors in FCAC, we heard about you guys before you even in high school, right? We heard, these New Canaan's getting these two freshmen. They've been wrestling in tournaments all over the country. They're really good.
Yeah.
They're gonna crush it, and which you both lived the life. It was true. But we did. So we're good. It's good to hear the story about how that all got started and how how it kind of manifested. That's pretty awesome.
Do you have like a specific memory where you had like maybe a loss and you looked at your dad and you were like we've got to like pick this up? Like, do you have
there were so many.
Like, I need to improve? That's something that really sticks with you. Still think about today?
There were so many, but I think like for especially the youth tournaments, I remember when we went down to Tulsa, because we always went down to Tulsa, Oklahoma every year. It's like just the big Eagle trophies, and it was such a big, well-known tournament. But we were always grinding. Like we get somewhere, and then maybe we'd fall back, and then it was just like, and it would be like, I remember like I think it was like kids like Luke Odom I was wrestling, and I would just lose. There's another kid that's going to Oklahoma State actually that committed there. And I would lose, and we would just go back to the drawing board and try to win, because the whole goal was trying to get like that big Eagle trophy. And I remember me and Justin, we just wanted so bad, and we just kept on going back. I mean, those like, because we used to go there every single year. It wouldn't be a question like if we're booking; they would already be booked for the previous years on the calendar that we're going there. And that was definitely a big event in my youth and in my wrestling career.
Nice. Well, it's pretty cool that's got to still burn in your mind when you're training or anything. You're thinking like, that's
definitely
what pops in your head.
And it's like, I wish I was like, and it's like part of me wishes I was still in my youth, because I still love that tournament. I still love going to that arena, that event, just everything about it. Like, I can't say for Justin, but I know for myself, I just love everything about that, and just loving going down to that area and wrestling with, like, as when we went down there the first time, we were just open to a whole new part of the country of wrestlers that we've never even seen before. When we get our butt kicks, and it's just kind of going back to the drawing boards and going back and seeing what we can apply to the match and see how far we can get this time,
Yeah.
And that's what we did.
Well, listen, I mean, if it sounds like that, that big trophy, those awards motivated you, and you certainly probably have a room full of awards now. So
Yeah.
you can take a look at those and go, yeah, I was pretty successful. I did well.
Yeah.
So that's cool. So now you come into high school, right? And you know, there's throughout the years that you were there, and you may not even know this, but there was always talk, right? There was always talk around the
Yeah.
FCI state, like, Tyler and Justin, they're not going to come back next year. They're training with Buxton down in Jersey, and they're doing this and they're doing that. They're going to go to prep school, and what was it that made you, again, New Canaan has great history, but it's they're not
Yeah.
the powerhouse team in the country, right? So what made you stay there,
Yeah.
as opposed to going to a Blair or
I mean,
something else?
right. I mean, I can't speak for Justin because I think his situation is different. But I know when we were applying there, we applied for when we first did. We were going for 8th grade when I first tried for any prep school, and we were going for like Phillips, Exeter, and Blair, and I think those were our 2 big ones. I think Loomis was in there too, but it wasn't really that big. And the whole idea was just that, like, you go to a prep school, it's supposed to, or help you open more doors to better colleges and, stuff like that. And it's not to take away from Buchanan, and that's proof that I went to Lee after Buchanan. But it was just like the idea that's getting better, open more doors and, stuff like that. So first year didn't go so well. We didn't really prep the right way. We started very late. So we thought maybe freshman year, we thought I'd prep a little better. And I remember for Hotchkiss, we were, I forget who, I think it was a coach that we were very close with, introduced us to Hotchkiss. And I remember we were introduced to the coach. He loved me, everything about it. We were contacting for a while. And, going back and forth, and he seemed like I was in. He went there. He gave me like a shirt, clothes, apparel, everything about it. My parents love the campus. I love the campus, everything about it. But the day of like decisions came and I got denied, and I was kind of very disappointed about it. And I mean, maybe that's all me for not, being prepared enough, but I don't know. It was just very disappointing at the time. And after that, it was probably the best thing that could have ever happened to me. Because after that, I didn't apply at all to any prep schools, and I was kind of done with it. But, going back in the future, I wish I didn't, because I wouldn't have met the people I have in UK high school. I wouldn't have met you guys really. And I wouldn't have, fell in love with all my teammates and everyone that's here. But the whole idea in the very beginning was just to, potentially open some more doors for colleges, just get some more eyes on you, But, in hindsight, looking at it, I'm glad I didn't get accepted. It's probably the best thing that ever could happen to me in this high school career. But yeah.
Yeah, the thought always is, that there's a great pipeline there between private schools and colleges, and
Yeah.
it helps you feed that. So a lot of kids will look at that same thing you did, and obviously it was a great decision for you, or turned out to be a great thing for you to stay at New Canaan, dominate the way you did, become the most winning wrestler in New Canaan history, win 2 New England championships. I mean, you kind of
It's only
checked
been
all.
3 years. You got that record with the wins, and you only wrestled about 3 years. You took a whole year off.
I did. That's what annoyed me. Like, even just looking at it, because it's like, damn, like, if only my injury didn't take place, then I would have more wins. I'd have close to, I was talking to Chief about it. He's like, dude, you would have had like at least almost 200 wins.
Yeah.
If that knee injury. And I was like, yep. But I can't do anything about that. But
So so falling, you're saying how, like, you in circumstance where with New Canaan, right? You get denied. You're at New Canaan, and now you're putting all your chips in that New Canaan bucket.
Yeah.
What is your favorite thing about New Canaan, the school, your team? Like what did you dive into really there? Because you were a very team guy,
Right.
even though you were a standout amongst your peers.
It was definitely the atmosphere. I love every single one of my teammates, and I think that's what made me fall in love with everything about the program and everything about the school. Was just like, and we were very, very close. We were very close. So seeing each other between classes and hallways like that, we were just very close. We talk a lot, and I think that's what it was. Just the atmosphere. It was just having that good connection with coaches. Being good friends with your teammates. Having that good connection. So that way, when it comes to working in the room, you see a lot of progress and the connection's easier, and it's just you can work off each other, you can learn a lot of stuff with each other and have fun at the end of the day. And I think that's what it was. It was just the atmosphere of just being around them.
What's that like in the? Oh, sorry. What's that like in the gym because I know, you obviously were at a different level than most of your teammates.
Yeah.
What was that like in the gym when you flipped that switch and you were like, and now you were the hard ass, trying to pull someone along?
Yeah.
What was that dynamic?
It was definitely like a struggle at first because I had to realize like you have to have a lot of patience, and I've told Gal too. I'm like, I don't know how you do this because like I just like I don't know. I don't have the patience that he does, but it's definitely a lot of patience to just, be like, all right, guys, just one move at a time. And you have to just keep working on it, keep just like until it's just muscle memory. Because you can't teach it one day and the next day you do something else and you just forget about it. And I think that's what frustrated me the most. I'm like, yeah, I think we should just go on one thing, just three things, just a move from neutral, move from top, move from bottom, just working until they can. You know what I mean? So that, and I remember this year we were wrestling one team in Long Island, and they cradled our entire team. I'm like, why do you think that happened? And I'm like, they just work on cradles. But it was definitely something I had to learn, and definitely had to take into consideration that, and everyone's different, which made it that much more like, I guess, kind of a struggle because, one kid might be good at this, one kid might be good at listening, and it's like, I forget, it's very different. Everyone's very different. But I had to adjust to that, and I think that was the biggest thing, just trying to adjust to that and just working with everyone a little bit differently.
It makes you learn more about your peers too, right? Like, it makes you almost closer with certain guys because now
Absolutely.
you know
Absolutely.
how they operate, and then they can come to you for help. I'm sure, because I saw often in tournaments, guys will come up to you before a match, and then you work on them with something real quick, and they definitely relied on you for sure. So
it was definitely a help though too. And probably not as much as senior year because you didn't have that many guys, but it was just like. But it's definitely a help when you had like the Civics there as well, because they were probably more advanced than other students. So I would be able to go listen, Nate or Christian, help which one call it on this or someone on this because they understood a little bit better than whoever it was. So that way you can just cover more ground instead of me or someone else just going student by student. You know what I mean?
Their energy is also infectious. The two.
It's the best.
You can also see, especially from being a coach and watching, I can tell you right now that like the Civets, for example, are great examples, and not take anything away from them. They're great kids. I mean, probably the nicest kids I've ever in my life. But they got better. They performed better because you were on that team than they would have if you weren't on that team. And that's true in a lot of situations. I've had some stud guys in my gym. And when they're around, people get better. And when they're not around, people don't get better. So that's a estimate. Even though the patience takes time, trust me, I know.
It's definitely just wrestling them too. You get better by wrestling the better guys. You know what I mean? I'm not going to get better by wrestling someone I'm just going to beat up all the time. You need to get beat up. Everyone needs to get their ass handed to them. And that's why I had to learn coming up my youth. We would stay at one state or stay at one club for a bit. We'd move and not settle. And then we get our ass beat, we get better there, go somewhere else, get our ass beat, and then get better there. We just repeat until we're just, all the way across the board, we were beating everyone up.
Yeah. So that's a good way to lead right into my next question. What did you do? Because obviously when you were in your high school gym, you were a bit of more of a coach, right? You were definitely keeping your stuff tight, but you were helping a lot of other guys. How did you sharpen yourself? Like, during season, what did you do outside of practice to get that mental work or maybe that extra physical work that you needed, that you probably were taking that time in practice to help other guys? How did you stay sharp?
I would keep in contact with my coaches. I was in contact with Buxton or try to take stuff from his classes that he would show, because I would follow the wrestling feed or on Instagram and take what he taught that night, or I would text my private coach Roman in New Jersey, like, listen, what do I have to do? Because if I can't get to that night, what can I do for myself? So what drills can I do? What do I have to work on? And he would just give me a list, or I would just talk to him and I would just do what I need to improve on, and just work on with that with the Civets. And they would just be like, all right, let me know what you need, and I'll just help you out. Like, they'd just be my dummy for practice, you know what I mean? Because they understood, and they understood that, they'd be getting better from it. Because if they had a question about it, they would just ask, and I would teach them, and we just feed off each other, one another like that.
That's great. That's great communication too that you have with them.
Yeah.
So kind of going to the mental side of things, what's been your your plan? Like, how do you do goal setting? Have you done that over the years? Like, set your goals, and how much
Yeah,
focus you give to that, and how much
I
you
think
build a process around what you need to do to get better?
right. I think I think in the very beginning it was, and I was going back and forth with my dad about it. I would either try to like kind of tech the guy, and the only reason I would try to do that was just try to get a workout in. Because of and even though sometimes when the kid's not that good, he doesn't the wrestling doesn't look that great on both ends. But I would try to go for the point so I can try to get a workout in and try to work on stuff. And to one point, my dad was like, "Screw it, no, just go out there and pin them and dominate and just score and get it over with." And the mindset just became, get in there, do your stuff, not obliged by any of their rules, because sometimes when you wrestle these crappy guys, you just don't wrestle good. So I would just get in there and get out. And that was just kind of mentality and the goal set around everything, no matter who you were and what tournament it was.
Yeah.
What about like bigger goals, like junior year? You had that whole season ahead of you.
Yeah.
A little bit senior. Like, what was the mindset before the season started? I want to win this this many pins. This tournament. Like, did you have any type of big goals like that?
It was that I remember when we first went to Beast the East and Eastern State, and that was kind of our bigger tournaments because we first got in there because you have to be personally invited. So we go there, we get our kind of butts handed to us for at least Beast the East. The cars got to go. Can you move them? Yeah, downstairs. For the bigger tournaments, at least, it was definitely like a mindset we had to change, especially for me. Beast East was definitely the harder one, and it was just getting to the blood rounds to place. Unfortunately, I didn't do that. I didn't accomplish that goal, but Eastern States, I knew I had that one in the bag. I could tell from the first one when I took third place, and that just kind of fired me up because it was just like third place just didn't sit right with me. It's like you only lost to one guy. So next year when it came, and I remember I'm sitting there in the stands and submit to my dad. My dad's like, "Yeah, you're winning this one," and I was like, "Yeah, I'm definitely winning this one." And we took every match. Like, I was going to win every single one. I was just going to dominate every single one, play by my game. And that's how it worked. I played by my rules. I didn't play any to their crap or anything like that. I played to my rules, and it worked out just like that. We had a plan. We executed it. We went in and we did it right. And that's how it worked. And unfortunately, I couldn't go back to Eastern States and do that again because I want to so bad. But my injury blocked me from that. That was definitely a goal of mine. But as far as like pins and like scores, I didn't really worry about that too much because it's like when you get up that level, of course, it's not hard to pin a guy. It's obviously very, very, very big still do you can pin anyone, but it was more so get in there, do your stuff, and get out.
Yeah. You say like play by your own rules and like wrestle your own way. It does look like that when you wrestle. Like when you wrestle, it looks like a Tyler Sung match. Like you get like you have that energy and that swagger about you. Where did that chip come from? Like, because I can tell you have a chip on your shoulder. Like you go out to put a stamp on it. Like you want that Tyler Sung stamp on every match. Where'd that develop?
It was like kind of twofold. It's like for myself, like mentally, I just after a match, if I know it didn't go right, and I would just go to Richichi and I would just be like, I'd be annoyed. I'd be frustrated if it didn't go my way the slightest. Like if one move bothered me, I'd tell him and I just ran to him like, listen, I got to work on this. And he'd just be like, yeah, that's exactly what you need. And just feed off of me with that. Talk to me about it. Because he know too, like he would come to me and he'd talk to me. He would just expose me right then and there. He'd be like, hey, what's up with that? Like, you got to like talk to me right now. And I would just tell him, we would communicate off of that. And he just read me like a book. I think another pull was when I was in New Jersey with Roman, like Coach Roman, he'd be like, and he'd be no filter on me. He'd be like, listen, that's crap right there. Like, we need to fix this now, okay? Because that's not going to happen in the match, and you're going to look like crap. So we need to fix it. And every little detail he would tweak off me so that when I come to the match, it would be perfect. It wouldn't be good, it'd be perfect. You know what I mean? So that I wouldn't get sloppy with it. The littlest details make the biggest difference. So if my head was down, I'd be up, and we drilled 1,000 times. So I didn't want to do that anymore,
You were wrestling so tight that no one could say anything to you. You want that match that you walk off. No one's gonna say anything because you did it your way, 100%.
And I would say it to myself. I would announce to the whole team. Like I'd be so annoyed with myself if the match didn't go the way I want to or a certain way, And Richichi would be like, you should listen, work on in the room. We'll talk about it, and that's how we'll do it. And I'm very fortunate I had that communication with my teammates and with my staff, because that made all the difference in the end.
Yes. Yeah. You know, and I was gonna say, you know, you always seemed like I mean, when you're warming up, like we could see you talking to other kids. You could see, you know, talking to the Danbury kids because they were, you know, kind of on your you know, on your level, like kind of trying to get a little work in. But as soon as, you know, it was time for you to wrestle, man, your face just changed, right? You got really much more focused, and I think that's something that makes you a unique wrestler, makes you a special wrestler. And so, you know, your senior year, let's talk about that for a minute. Yeah, yeah.
It makes you look like an icy boy. You walk in the room, I'm like because like you're always got a headphones on, you're like this, and then like you pick your headphone, like yeah, cool, and then you take it off, you go like this, and I'm like, oh, someone's gonna get hurt every time.
Yeah,
it's icy.
Yeah, no, definitely, and you know, and that's, you know, part of that, whether it's intended or not, part of that leads to intimidation, right? And you know, anybody who's a successful athlete knows that a certain part of that, you can win certain matches before you even walk, you know, get on the mat, right?
Yeah.
Guys,
it was never for like, it was never for like the intimidation part, because at the end of the day, it's like I could care less what you think about me, you know, right. and I don't need you to get in my head. I don't need to think about you. It doesn't matter. It's about me. So they can be intimidated, it's fine, but it was just that was never the goal. It's just me doing what I do, doing my warm up, doing my stuff, getting out there, and I'm gonna show you what I got. That's all. Yeah.
And that's what it looked like too. Like you were just zoned into your thing. But people will get intimidated by that. So just want to, you know, not to change the mode too much, but just, you know, again, you know, your senior year, you come in, you have a knee injury. You know, you're not wrestling for months and months and months, and not to bring this conversation down, but you know, your mom did have, you know, your mom passed during the season in a just, you know, a shocking accident. And you know, I don't want to spend too much time on it, but you know, a lot of kids wouldn't have been able to handle that. And you know, it seemed like almost like wrestling was your refuge, right? It was a place for you to get away and
it was definitely
focus.
It was definitely. It was. I remember at the time when it all just happened, it was just all one big shock to the system. I just remember coming upstairs and the ambulance and my sister's crying, and it was just a whole big thing. All broke. Like, we move inside because they're doing yard work.
Okay.
So it's gonna be loud.
Yeah, we're gonna edit this, so we can edit this part out. So don't worry about like taking time.
I just don't want to be. It's gonna be loud.
Yeah. No, yeah.
So I remember it was just one big shock at the time, and it just a flow of emotions, and just didn't know really what to think of it. But I remember the first thing I wanted to do, it's what I all wanted to do during the entire time went on, from the beginning until this point, even when I think about it a little, is just wrestle. And because I knew when I was on the mat and I was wrestling, it would take my mind away from everything. It would take the pain. It would take, because I would just be in my own place where I'm comfortable and where I want to be most of all in the world. And I remember I would go down to GPS with Luca Erico, who the dad got me started in the first tournament, and we would just train, you know, and he knew it. He was very, very close to me and my family, and we wouldn't say anything. We just practice and just go every single day. I remember during the wake and everything, we would just practice, and that's all we did. And if it wasn't for that, and if it wasn't for the support behind me, I don't know how I would have gone through that. And, you know, because it was right after my knee injury, and that's all I wanted to do. Well, and it's like I had the urge. That's all I wanted to do when I had my knee injury. And when that happened, that's where I wanted to be 24/7. That's where I felt free, and that's where I felt most passionate, and just everything went away. And it didn't matter if I had a crappy practice, if I got my ass handed to me. It didn't matter at all. It just mattered about being there, you know. And for me, that was everything. That was everything.
It was tough timing. You know, I obviously the circumstance. It's never good timing. You know, when something like that happens, it's there. It doesn't matter when it happens, but you know, to happen right as you're coming out of your knee injury, right? Like you're getting cleared to start wrestling again, and then you get hit again, right in the chest. Yeah. You know, obviously you just dove back into wrestling, but how much more motivation did you have after that to be like, not that nothing's going to stop you, right? Like you're going to get that senior year. You're going to get that chance to wrestle. like it's almost like they wanted to take it away from you again, right?
Yeah.
They took it away with your knee, and then they tried to hit you again. Life tried to hit you again. What really, how did you stay centered?
I think it was just that the mentality that I think I've always had the mentality that wrestling was its own separate thing. It didn't matter what was going on. The other half of it was just its own separate thing, because I knew, and I would get annoyed if something in the outside world affected my wrestling or affected my mentality. I'd get very frustrated. But I knew my mom passing my knee injury. I'm like, listen, I know in the long run, if I don't perform, this will be my biggest regret in life. So I'm gonna use my knee injury, saying, "Yo, listen, I haven't wrestled in long, because all I want to do, even when I went up to Lehigh, and I remember talking to Dylan, he was like, sometimes things like this are the best things for us, because it makes us realize that when we come back from the sport, we want to wrestle that much more, and it makes you hungrier than you were before." And he was right. And and from my mom part of it, I wasn't going to let everything I worked for, and especially I know she was streaming, I know to make her proud, I knew I had to do well, and that's what it was. And I remember just going back to PT, just finishing up, and he was like, "Yo, listen, you guys start getting on the mat," and everything happened. And I walked in, he's like, "Yo, stay wrestling." I'm like, "No," and he's like, looks at me, he's like, "What are you doing?" He's like, "My mom passed." He's like, "Why are you here?" I'm like, "Dude, I gotta be here. Like, this is my distraction. This is where I want to be. This is what I got to do. Like, I've been out for 4 months. I have time to work. I have to be here. You know what I mean? It didn't matter what was going on, and that's where I wanted to be. I wanted to be working.
What was it like after that first match back and getting that win? Because you had a 20-0 season when you came back. You came back and just ran the table. But what was it like, legitimately lacing up, got the singlet, and getting that win, and then what did it feel like the rest of the way to 20?
It was a little bit weird, but it was also like the best feeling in the world, because when I was hurt, that's all I wanted to do. I just wanted to see a wrestling match or put on a shoe, and that was everything. And the small part of me was worried I'd be a little rusty at first when I was coming back from injury, but surprisingly it wasn't. It was more so maybe conditioning, which makes sense because I was out. I didn't really have that, but it was probably the best feeling in the world coming back. Same mentality, same game plan, probably even better, not sloppy, go in there, get them done quickly and get it out. And I wasn't going to waste any time. I wasn't going to let what happened to me affect me. I was going to, I was going to do my stuff.
Yeah, and you certainly didn't waste any time. I mean, you ran through a couple of tournaments at the postseason there, like the L tournament, and I don't even know if you wrestled, 3 minutes the whole entire tournament. I mean, I knew you were just beating kids up quick and getting your work done and getting out of there. And you could tell it was like a, in your mind, it was fun, but it was a business-like atmosphere too.
Yeah. I remember. Yeah, I remember my sister came down. One of them came down. She was like Quinn Moynihan or something like that, the finals kid. And she was like, "Oh my god, that kid's cute. Like, can I get his Snapchat?" And then I pinned him, and she's like, "Well, I have no chance with him now." Like, and then she put on her private story. She's like, "My brother just pinned him. I have no chance, guys." But it was a lot of fun though. But it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun.
I remember. I think it was. I was watching New England. We didn't have a guy go to New England, so I wasn't there. But I remember watching. I was watching the live. Yeah, I was watching the live feeds, and I think it was your semifinal match. Either the quarters or the semis was like your toughest match.
Right.
And it was one that I remember at one point you looked over to the corner to your coaches, and you were just like, shook your head, and you were just like, "We're good." Like, it was a back and forth.
Yeah.
Like, the kid scored some points, and I think you like patted your chest and were like, "Calm down, guys." Like,
yeah, no, I
got
communicate
this.
with them all. It's because I know Richichi, like, he's got me 100%, and I'm like, yeah. And if he gets fired up, because then if he gets emotional, and if I get emotional, I'm done. So I'm like, yo, like, we're okay. Like, trust me. Like, if I'm not getting crazy about it, don't worry about it. You know what I mean? And the score's fine. I knew the numbers, and I remember even at state opens, I was like, I communicated with him, and I remember it was like during my semis match must have been, and my headgear was just acting up, and I look at him, I'm like, yo, like, and I'm like talking to him in the middle of the match. He's like, "What's up?" And I'm like, "It's not working right." And he gets off the mat, and he's like, "Your headgear broke in 3 places." I was like, "Yeah, well, there we go." But I looked, but I'm always like that. I'm like, because the last thing I need for him to do is get thrown out. So I'm like, relax. Like, we're not losing here. Just whatever. I'll get the call back. I know it was stupid, but we can't do anything about it. We can't do anything about it. It's out of my control. Yeah. So instead of getting emotional and excited about it, let's just get it back. Let's get the points back, or
Right.
just get a better position.
Always be scoring, right?
Yeah, because
Always
we
be
can't,
scoring.
because I can't change that. So if we can't change that, let's go back and let's get more points.
How did that change from like your freshman and sophomore year? Because I know that you let your emotions get a little
Oh,
messy when you're younger.
it was definitely, it totally changed
What do
because
you do
I
to
would,
change that?
because I came to realization it's like I can't change their call. You know, me getting excited, there's no reason because I'm gonna break down. I'm gonna get in the mental state where I'm already gonna lose, so I'm already putting myself at this disadvantage, and it'd be for nothing. It'd be for nothing because I would lose and I didn't get my call back. So what was the point? So I think it was just maturity, understanding that you can't change your call. So instead, keep your crap together and go get the more points because you have a better chance of winning when you're like that instead of when you're emotional. So
Yeah.
So we always talk about, we talk a lot about with our kids is coaching about controlling the controllables, which is what you've been kind of talking about for the past few minutes. And it really seems like that might even be kind of a mantra that runs through your head because as we talked about, the knee injury, you knew I can't control it, but I can do other things to get better and be ready to go.
Yeah.
Your mom's tragic situation, you knew I can't control that. Nothing I can do is going to change
Right.
that, but I can honor her legacy. I can honor my commitments. I can get better. And everything you do seems to be about controlling the controllable, which is a great message to the young people that are listening to this is control what you control and get better. And now you have a chance to take that same mentality onto the big time Division I Lehigh. So tell us a little bit about that and how you're feeling about getting there and that whole thing.
I'm feeling very good about it. Unfortunately, I don't think because at the very beginning before COVID happened and everything, we were supposed to get there a couple weeks early to get acclimated and just get in the workout routine, which I was ecstatic about. But now we just got notice that campus is going to open up on August 24th, and they told us we're going to get there like a week early, so that's good.
Yeah.
But everything is in preparation. Everything I can do right now I know some things are closed, but everything that I'm doing now is for that school. And I was talking to Coach and he's like, I understand that like gyms are closed, but I'm trying to figure out, I go to the turf almost every day, grab a medicine ball or two and do something because it's better than nothing and just sitting around and just rotting away,
Yeah.
But I'm ecstatic about it. I can't wait.
Tell us a little bit why Lehigh, the recruiting process. How did you pick there, land up there?
So at first it was 3 schools. It was Lehigh, Wisconsin, and UVA, and like some smaller schools like I honestly forgot. George Mason. And in the very beginning, we were started to look for schools. Started just typing in. Me and my dad just looking for schools that would just be good academically and have wrestling. So for Lehigh, and we were like, wait, like, well, we know Buxton very well, and he's very affiliated with Lehigh. So we sent out an email, like, do you think, or text, and we were like, do you think Tyler's very interested in Lehigh? Do you think it'd be a great fit? He's like, I think it'd be a great fit. He goes, don't worry about it. I'm on it. I'll get you in contact. Just like first text out. We're like, okay. And I remember,
and the ball's rolling.
and we didn't even see. He was like, "Don't worry about it, I'm on it." And we were just like, "Okay." And I went to practice next day or something like that. He's like, "They should be texting you." And then I went to practice the next day. He's like, "Did they text you?" He's like, "No." And he's like, and he was pissed about it. He was pissed about it. He goes, "You're gonna get a text tomorrow." And I'm like, okay. And I got a text the next day. But it was definitely we went to go down to visit all 3 schools. And UVA was good, but I think Garland was kind of like after he heard that I was kind of affiliated with Bucks, and he kind of like switched sides on us and was like, okay, he was a very great guy. He showed us a lot of love, showed us all the campus, everything, and we kind of just lost like interest with UVA after that little instance. But I remember from the start it was always kind of Lehigh, and we went to go visit Wisconsin. But unfortunately, like Bono and Reader weren't there at the time, and they got involved a little bit late. But I knew I love Madison. I love Madison, Wisconsin. I thought it was a great campus. I loved everything about it. I have a buddy of mine that goes there. He loves it. But the coaches just got involved really late when I was like about to decide with Lehigh. But I remember when I went down to Lehigh, I think the biggest thing was just the family and everything about it. I went down with Drew Munch, Steven Storm, and Rennie. He just won Super there too. But I remember went down with them and I had like a blast. We went down during wrestle-offs. They treated me like a king, and they showed me everything. They treated me with a lot of respect and a lot of love. And I knew that, like, listen, like I'm affiliated with Buxton, know them very well. They're showing me a lot of love. That's where I want to go. And just from the moment I stepped on campus, and it had nothing to do from another school, nothing to take away from them. They were great. I love them all. Great schools, but just something about Lehigh. And I think what made the final push as well is that, like, my major, I wanted to do business. I wanted to do finance because I wanted to work on Wall Street, and they had a great business major. So I was like, we're set there. We're set academically. I love the team. I know a lot of guys in the team already. Everything kind of just seemed perfect, and that's where I want to be. So it just ended up working out.
You're also that's the closest of the three to home too. So.
Yeah, it's just and I think my dad, he told me after, and Richichi told me the same thing. And I remember we were driving up somewhere for a meeting. He was like, "Hey, I know we were talking about it," and he's like, "I didn't want to be selfish at the time, but I was kind of hoping you stayed close because." And my dad kind of felt that he'd lose me as a son if I went over to Wisconsin because the plane and it's like traveling. But he loved that I stayed close, and Richichi loved that I stayed close. And he's like, dude, 2 hours, 2 hours and a half, no problem. I'll do that any day of the week. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I was like,
you wrestle a lot. Yeah.
It worked out. So it just seemed like everything was perfect, and it ended up coming. It went up in my favor. So I was very, very fortunate, and very happy that it happened.
I thought we thought you might fall into the NC State pipeline that's happening now.
Not really. Coach was telling me, that he was like, they want to get contacts, and I was like, okay. I wasn't like all into NC State. I was like, okay. I mean, but at the end of the day, it was always Lehigh. And I remember my dad talked to me. He was like, listen, you get accepted into Wisconsin Lehigh. I'm like, what would it be? And I'm like, as much as I love Madison and everything like that, I'd have to go with Lehigh just because, like, I know the guys, I know the team, like I love the coaches, just everything worked out. If I felt like I was already there a little bit, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I felt like I already had a little pass there. So
yeah, and you're going into a program, that's a top 10 program in the country. As Travis said, it's kind of local for you. It seems like it hits all the buttons, and it has your major. It seems like you checked off all the spots on your checklist, which is great.
I'm curious. I'm curious if you're looking at your team right now and you're looking at your coach for Lehigh. What are they getting the next 3 years, 4 years? What are they getting? Tell me what Tyler Sung is going to do at Lehigh.
They're definitely going to get an improved Tyler Sung when I get up there, and I think they'll help me out a lot with that. But I think a totally different mindset where it's going to be from because high school and college is a different animal, and something I might have to realize, and I haven't realized yet, but. Just a different mindset where it's going to be taking up a whole new notch and something that's going to be hitting a lot harder. And we're going to go just a lot faster pace. Everything just taking up a notch, and just no distractions and just focus all the time. And that's what's going to have to be. And if it doesn't, the results will show. But once I get there,
what about some early goal setting? You have any early goals for?
I think the first big goal is definitely, or not really a goal, it's just finding out where I am weight-wise, because that's kind of like, not all over the place, but I have to find out where I am right there, because they understand I'm tall. Like, listen, like, we don't really care where you're at. Just we're going to see when we get you there. We're going to put muscle on you. We're going to see where you're at. But I think the first biggest goal that I start out in my head, the earliest I can remember, is just making that lineup, making that team, breaking the lineup, because even though they have like 30 some odd guys, they only take it's like 13 or whatever it is to the events for the different weight class. So it's just breaking that lineup and getting in there, and then from there work on your stuff and improve and make sure you keep that spot. I think that's the biggest goal for me right now. And from there you just work on
you too, baby. I want to be watching you. I'm gonna watch every one of Lehigh's matches.
Tyler, you think you're gonna enjoy riding time?
Yeah, I am. I'm gonna get some points in riding time. I can't wait for that, actually.
Yeah, I mean, you're a top guy, heavy guy, man, who stays on there like a spider. So
I remember coming back from the injury, and I was Buxton was showing me this thing, and he had like a younger student do it to me, and this younger student was kicking my ass on top with this move, and it was like the simplest thing, but it was just to break me down. And I just remember the pressure, and I was so excited to use that move. I was showing everyone the move. I was showing Justin, you have to do this. This is sick. And it's perfect for you because you can go right into legs from it. It's amazing. And I loved it. I kept on doing it. And I was like, because they can't get away. and I was just blocking everything, and it was just I loved it. I loved the move.
When you get in the wrestling room, you gotta do a quick little videotape of that and send it to us so we can share it with our kids.
Yeah.
I will. Once I get on the mat with someone, I gotta show you. I love it. It's just like nothing crazy, the simplest thing, and you're not doing a lot, but like the pressure, they can't move, and it's the best. The best.
It's awesome.
Love that. So let's change things up. So obviously, your transition, you're going to college next year, and I know you say you want a lot of focus on wrestling. What do you do when you're like detoxing from wrestling? Like when you need a break, what are your other interests? What else really gets you motivated or get your mind going?
I think what definitely keeps me motivated is definitely the team, and like definitely my friends that I'll have there, or and like even the friends that I have now that just keep me motivated. Like I take away little things that they're good at that maybe I'm not great at. But it's definitely that. I like that. Not that school is motivating, but definitely the focus on there as well from other sides wrestling. And I remember my dad for the longest time, he's like, listen, wrestling, I love wrestling, but at the end of the day, school is what's going to put a roof over your head at the end of the day. So you got to make sure you're on top of that. And till this day, he's on my ass about school, on my ass. My grade could drop 2 points, and I'll have a discussion, and he has a discussion with me every night.
Yeah.
Like, as much as I hate it, I understand, and I'm thankful that I have someone like that because it's got me to where I am. But it's while wrestling is great, that's school's on the other side of my mind, and it just kind of flops between those two, And he's like, listen, whenever happens wrestling, but you're staying on. Like, I don't care what happens in wrestling. You're make sure your school is good.
Yeah, well, you're not going to graduate college and get a $10 million signing bonus.
Yeah, exactly.
No matter how many national titles you win.
Exactly. I mean, I wish it was like that because then it'd be a little bit different of a story, but it's not. So school at the end of the day is where it's at,
Mm-hmm.
And getting a degree is where it's where it's at. So.
What about do you have any hobbies, or you like painting, you like music, anything? What else do you do that?
I mean, I definitely like music and like listening to music, but I think it's just more so going out with like friends and having a time to be like a kid and myself. And I remember like I tried to explain to my dad. He's like, listen, you have a week left of school and your grade drops like a couple points. And I'm like, I'm just trying to like have a good time,
right.
And I'll just be out with my friends like doing stuff, and like I'll get like 2 texts saying like, what we're doing tonight, like what's the move, whose house we're hanging out, and it's like just being with them and enjoying the small things with them. That's like where I love to be, and I don't have a lot of hobbies. I think it's just kind of being around my friends and enjoying time with them and just doing new stuff. Going to find like some cliff to jump off into water, just going and enjoying something with them. That's where I love to be.
That's cool.
I definitely get the vibe from you and seeing you interact with your friends. Like, you have a very calm demeanor, but it's very reliant on the people around you. Like you build yourself off the people that you spend the time with.
100%. 100%.
Lean on them as much as they lean on you.
100%. And I'm very, very grateful to have those people in my life. And I think the Siblets are definitely a booster for that. Just being around them and having and sharing their mentality and seeing their way on the world. Because it's like they don't have a bad bone in their body.
Oh my God.
And to me, like, it annoys me a little bit because it's like just be like, do something wrong. Do something wrong.
Just the nicest kid ever. Man.
Like, and just no matter what they do, just the the sweetest kids in the world, sweetest family. Like, love those kids to death.
Yeah.
And they're like, yo, come to Lake House. We'll go on the boat. We'll do. I mean, yeah.
It's almost disarming, right? Because
it is.
As a competitor, which I'm a coach, right? So I'm a competitor. My kid go out and wrestles Sibbert, right? And my mindset is, go beat the crap out of that kid.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden the match is over, and this nicest kid in the world comes over and goes, "Hey, coach, thank you for the match." Like, I'm like, you just disarmed me completely with your niceness and your politeness. It was. You can't help but like this.
They would annoy me because I'd be thinking the same thing. I'd be like, all right, our kid's got to wrestle Sibbert. Like I hope he's ready. And I look, and they're up next, and the two of them are like high fiving, arm around each other. The match hasn't even started yet.
I would even get annoyed because I'd see them talking, and it's like the aggressive part of me and like the winning part of me. It's like, I want to kill you when I'm out there. You know what I mean? And that's the whole mentality of it. And I'm like, stop talking to the match. Like, stop. I'm like, stop being so nice. I'm like, stop being so nice. And they're like, okay. And like, they just start talking to you. And I'm like, all right. I'm like, that's their style, I guess.
Those are good people to have in your corner, and I'm
Yeah.
sure that they'll be there for a long time. So
Yeah.
keep them
So
close.
we just got
I definitely will.
we just got a couple more questions, man, and then
Yeah, I think
we'll
we'll
get
start.
out of here.
Okay.
So one of the questions we have two questions that are kind of weird. They're both about bags and backpacks. So we know all athletes, carry the backpacks around with them, right? No one more than wrestlers, right? We have these carry backpacks wherever we go. What's the most important thing that you keep in your backpack that you can't, like, when you pack the night before, you have to have it in there. You need it all the time.
Oof, probably besides my shoes, it's probably got to be tape. I use so much tape.
Yeah.
The guys would get annoyed with me because the tape, comes whole, and I'd split it because I've messed up my fingers so many times from wrestling in the sport that I would tape just everything, and they would get annoyed, and it's like, guess who did this? And it's like the tape is all messed up because it's me, because it's all split in different things. And so Richichi would have to give me my own separate tape, and he'd always have it on him. I remember New England's, and I'm like, where's the tape? And it'd have like this finger tape for me. So I think out of everything besides my shoes, it's got to be tape. Tape is like the number one thing I use.
Yeah, I mean, because when you look at wrestlers, man, they always have these backpacks, and you're like, what the hell are we carrying around those things?
Some people have some crazy, like, just stuff hanging off. It's singlets hanging off. I'm like, what do you need all that? All you need is shoes, really. I mean, I don't know what you're carrying in there, but okay.
Yeah.
I mean, but just tape and shoes. That's all I need. Headgear is optional. My dad wants me. He'll kill me if I get that ear, but I haven't got it yet. So
I see you wearing your headgear. Yeah.
Nice.
And then the other part of that, our bag question is, we kind of throw this term around a little bit between Jordan and Travis and myself. It's about like what a badass bag, right? And what we mean by a badass bag is something that you can, when you have a tough hill to climb, you can always recall a time when you did something tough in your life already, and you're like, if I did that, I can certainly handle that. Like, so what's a recall moment or a badass moment that you had that you kind of use as a recall to get you through other tough times?
I think my biggest one had to be this past year with the injury and my mom, because I don't think anything else can really top just that transition from what happened to anything else that I remember. And I've had my small adversities and overcoming in the past, but I don't think that, because just even after a week of me wrestling, and COVID's been so annoying with this, because it's like after a week of me wrestling, it's like that's all I want to do. Just go just be on a mat. And I remember even one time I was on vacation with my buddy, and I'd spend like just 3 days, and I was like, I need to get on that mat. And he's like, what are you talking about? You're on vacation. I'm like, I don't have to tell you. I need to get on the mat. And like I tell my coach, and he's like, no one will ever understand that except wrestlers. Like no one will ever understand that. It's like it's gonna completely weird everyone else, but no one will understand that. But I think definitely the baddest one was that.
Yeah, we understand it completely. And I tell you a quick story. I had a wrestler back in graduated in 2008, and he was open champion. And when he was going to be turning 16, his parents said, do you want a car or do you want a wrestling mat in your basement? And he said, I'll take a wrestling mat in the basement. So we told him,
I don't need a car. Yeah,
we understand
I don't need a car.
mentality. Yeah, so that's cool. And then I guess, Trav, the last question I have just is, this we put this podcast together to try to give a message to the young kids, whether they're wrestlers or whatever athletes, and just kind of how to lead the right life athletically and everything you do. And what advice would you kind of leave to young wrestlers? You're talking to a bunch of middle school or early high school kids. What Tyler Sung advice would you give to them?
I would definitely give my biggest advice would probably be definitely set goals. And as cliche as that sounds, is probably the biggest thing, and some of the things that definitely got me through life. Because it's like, if I don't really set a goal, at least for me, I'm kind of just drifting a little bit. But when you set a goal, you're kind of aimed at something. You set daily goals, monthly goals. You set, I remember I was listening to Denzel Washington. He was giving like a speech, and he was like, set daily goals, monthly goals. And he's like, don't confuse motion with progress. And that's probably the biggest thing. It's like you could be doing everything you want, but it's like, you're doing it with the purpose, doing it with the goal. Like, where are you going to? You know, I'm not doing it for the heck of it. I'm doing it to get better. I'm doing it to be the best. You know, to win a title, to win something. You know, so my biggest advice is probably just set goals, set daily goals, monthly goals. Just keep setting goals, keep pushing yourself. Probably my biggest advice.
I love that sentence. My eyes just lit up when you said, "Don't confuse motion with progress."
Yeah.
And my mind went right to treading water versus swimming in one direction. Both are swimming, right? You jump in a pool, you're swimming whether you're treading water or not. But you're moving and you're just surviving, or you're attacking, right?
You're going somewhere. Yeah.
That's awesome.
I remember just watching that, and I was like, that's probably the biggest thing I think I've heard. And I just always think about that. I always think about that video every time I'm just thinking about goals and everything. Motion, everything.
Yeah, that makes a hell of a lot of sense, and that's a great thing to keep in your mind all the time. And I think it actually it's metaphorical, but it also even applies itself into like the physical. When you're on a mat, you could be moving around, but if you don't have a purpose, if you're not trying to control your opponent, you're not trying to get after that single or whatever, it's you're wasting time.
Yeah, and it doesn't have to just apply to wrestling or just your sport, and you don't have to. You can apply to just life, and it's like you just take risks, take professional risks. Don't. I remember my dad told me, he's like, whatever you do, don't settle, and that's what we did for wrestling as well. We never stayed at just one club. We got better, and we moved on. We got to a better club. It just never settle, and we had to take our risk here and there, and that's what got us better.
Well, it certainly worked, as we said earlier. I mean, you're. I think I read somewhere, where Coach said that now you're the best wrestler to ever come out of New Canaan High School, and that's a they've had some great wrestlers over the years. That's a credit to you, to your family, everything you guys have done, and I can tell we're big fans of yours, and that's one reason we want to have you on there. We'll be watching, whether it's live or on.
Thank you. I love you guys for that. Thank you.
We'll be watching you all the way, man. We'll be rooting for you, and if you ever need anything, we're
here. I appreciate it.
We'll support you throughout.
Absolutely.
Appreciate it, guys.
I am ready to see a Tyler Sung shot out of a cannon. You've been cooped up. Get this man a wrestling match.
Yo, that's what I remember. Justin texted me. He texted me. He's like, "Yo, Justin wrestled." He texted me. He's like, "Yo, would you want to wrestle with me and Nico Provo and Matt Ryan next week?" I go, time and date. That's I just said. I said time and date. Time and date. Give me a wrestling match.
Shoes and tape.
Shoes and tape. That's all I need. Shoes and tape. That's all I need.
You talk about COVID. So, this year I have a couple of buddies that we like to go out to, go to nationals, and we had our tickets and everything going this year. We obviously got canceled. So we're looking to come back next year, and it'd be great to see Tyler Sung at nationals, man. So get to work, do your thing, and we'll be there supporting you, bud.
Very excited. Thank you so much.
All right, buddy. Good talking to you.
We'll talk to you soon.
Say hi to the family.
Yep.
I will. Thank you, guys. Bye.
He's the man.
Yeah, no, he was very good. He was very good, and that was a good interview. I think that worked out well.
Yeah, and
I didn't mean to steal the badass thing from you. It just that.
No. Dude, take it. I was fine with that. I had plenty of conversation in there. No, and it is funny. It's like,